The indictment alleges that Mr. Joyce ran his Senate office as a criminal enterprise. It alleges that he took official acts and pressured and advised others to take official acts on behalf of business cronies, and in exchange received bribes and kickbacks. It also alleges that he took steps to mislead the Senate Ethics Commission and the public about the true nature of his activities, and that he laundered the illegal proceeds of those activities in a variety of ways. The charges in today's indictment include racketeering, extortion, mail fraud, wire fraud, money laundering, and tax evasion. They are the result of a 2-year investigation by the FBI and the IRS, which revealed that former State Senator Joyce exploited his Senate office for private gain in a variety of ways. For example, the indictment alleges that Mr. Joyce used his official position to pressure and advise town administrators to use the services of a particular energy brokerage company. In exchange, that company paid kickbacks to a shell corporation owned by Mr. Joyce. Mr. Joyce took steps to conceal his involvement with the energy brokerage company and to disguise the kickbacks as legal fees. The indictment also alleges that Joyce used his official position to pressure and advise members of the Milton Planning Board to approve a property subdivision waiver for the benefit of a property developer who in exchange paid a kickback to Mr. Joyce. Mr. Joyce took several steps to conceal that kickback. Among other things, he falsely told a Milton Planning Board member that he would not be paid by the developer, and he later took payment in the form of a Jeep from one of the developer's car dealerships. Other allegations include that Joyce took official action and pressured and advised others to take official action on behalf of a coffee business franchise owner in exchange for hundreds of pounds of free coffee. To conceal his corrupt relationship with the franchise owner, Joyce submitted backdated checks to the State Ethics Commission, and he instructed the franchise owner and a relative to falsely represent to the Ethics Commission that they had agreed to provide Joyce coffee in exchange for legal services. Brian Joyce represented over 100,000 Massachusetts citizens in state legislature. He had a duty to serve them honestly, and he violated that duty by accepting bribes and kickbacks in exchange for his official action. The Department of Justice is committed to exposing and prosecuting public corruption wherever we find it in order to maintain the public's faith in our political and justice systems. I remind everyone that the indictment contains only allegations. Mr. Joyce is presumed innocent until proven guilty, and we look forward to proving these allegations at trial. I'd now like to ask FBI Special Agent in Charge Hank Shaw to say a few words.
Thanks, Bill, and good morning. Shortly before sunrise this morning, FBI and IRS agents arrested former State Senator Brian Joyce. He was safely taken into custody without incident at his home in Westport, Massachusetts. We believe Mr. Joyce was greedy, plain and simple. As alleged, he blurred the line between his public duties and private business and failed to act in the best interests of his constituents. Through his alleged criminal schemes, he placed his own self-interest ahead of his oath, personally profiting in the range of hundreds of thousands of dollars. Elected officials are public servants, and public service requires the public's trust. Service should never be a shortcut to self-enrichment or personal ambition. At a bare minimum, we should expect public officials to obey the law. Through our diligent investigation, countless hours of analysis, interviews, and painstaking review of documents, we believe Mr. Joyce broke the law, subsequently violating the public's trust. Public corruption investigations will continue to be a priority for my office. It doesn't just strike at the heart of good government, it diminishes the trust and confidence within our communities. Make no mistake, the vast majority of public officials and agents of the government are honest in their work and committed to serving their fellow citizens. Unfortunately, as alleged in this case, some are not. In the end, it doesn't matter if the corruption is at the local, state, or federal level. It doesn't matter if it's millions of dollars or merely hundreds. There is no acceptable level of corruption. The violation of trust is the same. The damage to the taxpayers is the same. Left unchecked, these kinds of crimes rip at the very fabric of our democracy. This was a complex and demanding investigation. I want to personally recognize the investigators and prosecutors who pursued this case over the past few years. But our work isn't done. Going forward, we'll continue to find and stop those who aren't playing by the rules. We cannot shrug our shoulders and say, well, that's the way it is. It'll never change. That kind of thinking is corrosive to good governance in our democratic system. The FBI is committed to this work because the impact is on everyday people, is real, has consequences, and broad-ranging effect. Concerned citizens will continue to be one of the FBI's greatest assets when it comes to rooting out problems like you've heard about today. As our team is hard at work attempting to identify and prevent corruption from ever occurring, I'd also like to take this opportunity to ask the public for their continued help to hold accountable those who are not looking out for the public's best interest. My sincerest appreciation for the tremendous work of Acting U.S. Attorney Bill Weinreb and his team, as well as my thanks to Joel Garland and the IRS for their continued partnership and valuable support in collaborative efforts. It was truly a team effort.
Good morning. My name is Joel Garland. I'm the Special Agent in charge of IRS Criminal Investigations, Boston Field Office. Today's announcement is a shameful example of an elected official voted into office by his constituents who believed in him and deciding to take the path of greed. Our nation's tax system is based on voluntary compliance. The myriad of programs that are funded by the federal government are dependent upon the tax dollars that are collected each year. Former State Senator Brian Joyce, an elected official who should have held himself to a higher standard, decided he didn't have to abide by our tax laws like millions of other Americans do, including those he served. This is not the first time a public official has betrayed the special trust and confidence given them, and probably won't be the last. However, you can be assured that there will always be a vigilant investigative team like the ones assigned to this investigation on the job and on their trail. No one gets a free pass to ignore our laws, and in my case, especially our tax laws. We are proud to partner with the U.S. Attorney's Office, Acting U.S. Attorney Weinreb, and FBI TAC Hank Shaw, and in combating public corruption and protecting our taxpayers. I would like to also thank the entire investigative team for their great efforts in this investigation. Thank you.